First, just a little bit of background about how we got to where we are today. I have to take us back to 2009. That was the year that former President Rebecca Chop signed the American College and University President's Climate Commitment. It's since been renamed Second Nature's Carbon Commitment. But basically, when Rebecca Chop signed that, with the advice of the Sustainability Council at the time, she committed the university to a couple of things. One is a commitment to carbon neutrality, and the other one is an education on sustainability and climate change for all students. So we've been working on that ever since. We're going to focus our session in this short video on the first part of it, which is actually the carbon neutrality part. It's the operational side of the commitment. So when Rebecca Chop signed that commitment, we had to do a greenhouse gas inventory. So in order to achieve carbon neutrality, you need to know what your emissions are as a campus. So we measured our campus carbon footprint, and in the year 2009, which serves as our baseline footprint, our footprint was 17,393 tons of emissions. So we measure our footprint in tons. It was 17,000 plus tons, and we were charged ourselves with drawing that down to zero emissions. So the other part of the commitment was that within a couple of years of signing, so by 2011, we had to complete a climate action plan. And the climate action plan served two important purposes, which was published in 2011. First, it gave us a roadmap for how we were going to reduce our campus carbon footprint. So lighting projects, renewable energy projects, behavior change programs, reduced mow areas, improved recycling, all of that stuff is a part of 27 projects that we implemented from 2011 to 2015 that reduced our carbon emissions. The other part of our sustainability and climate action plan, besides the roadmap to reducing our footprint, we also had to specify a carbon neutrality date. So what date would we actually achieve carbon neutrality? So what we did, the Sustainability Council and the working groups that were involved at the time, was we modeled a few scenarios, and then we made that presentation to the President's Cabinet, and they decided that 2019, in celebration of our bicentennial, but yet soon enough where people who are part of the commitment today, who work and learn on campus, would also potentially be around to see this carbon neutrality date, they would be here at the time. So that's why they picked the carbon neutrality date of 2019. That's pretty aggressive. It's one of the earliest carbon neutrality dates. We'll be one of the first institutions in the country to achieve that, and we'll be the first in New York State to achieve carbon neutrality as well. So we've been working to try to figure out, okay, well, how are we going to achieve this goal in the most responsible and best way possible to address the central challenge of climate change. So we've been implementing our projects, and the other part of this realization is that we cannot achieve carbon neutrality without investing in carbon offsets. Simply because part of our campus carbon footprint is air travel, it's commuter emissions, we have emissions from some forms of energy which still emit carbon and other fossil fuels. So we knew at the time when we committed to carbon neutrality by 2019 that we were not going to be able to eliminate those emissions without a major expense or disruption to our academic mission. So we basically committed ourselves to also investing in carbon offsets. So basically our climate action plan is a two-pronged thing. It's continuing to reduce emissions on campus, And it's also thinking of ways of investing in legitimate, high-quality carbon offsets to draw our remaining footprint down to zero. And this is what we've been working on, and this will be the focus of our session. So accompanying this video is a short attachment that the Carbon Offsets Working Group, which is a subgroup of the Sustainability Council, has been working on. So we looked at some potential offset options, looking at best practices from other universities, as well as just doing our own research and exploring what options might be available to us. And we've listed those as potential offset options. We're hoping that you review this video, and if you made it this far, you have. And we also hope that you will review the attachment that lists a little bit about the carbon offsets that we could possibly invest in the next year or so to help meet our carbon neutrality date.